Hello, thank you for joining me today. I am Latoya Hart and I am the Breakup Girl. Today we are going to talk about the reasons he is being mean to you. Oftentimes when in in relationships, sometimes the lines of communication can get crossed and you don't really know what exactly is going on. So naturally, all women, all people, they just want to be loved. They want to give love and they want to receive love. But sometimes it's difficult to understand how someone wants to be loved. That kind of has to be nurtured and developed as time goes on. One of the things that you have to consider when you're in a new relationship with a guy is what their past experiences have been. Not only their own individual experiences, but what their experiences have been growing up in a household and seeing relationships and people interacting with each other, seeing men and women interact with each other that are in a relationship, because that begins to form what their idea of a relationship should be, and yours too. And the way that can not necessarily impact, but once you have that opinion or you have this view of how relationships should work and you get into a relationship, you have this perception of how things should work. The other person has a perception of how things that should work, and if things don't work that way, then sometimes people can be put off or feel as if the other person does not like them or they're not doing something appropriate because their idea or their perception of how relationships should work isn't quite fitting what your relationship looks like. One of the most critical things that you could do when you're in a new relationship is you must work with that person to really define how the relationship is going to work for you, not how the relationship worked for your mom, your grandparents, or a close family member or friend, but how is the relationship going to work for the two of you? You have to sit down and take time to clearly define what that looks like for you. If you're able to define it and your morals and your values are aligned, then that is awesome. But there are instances a lot of times where your morals and values are so different and your perception of how things should work are so different and you cannot find a compromise. In this instance, when you aren't on the same page and your values and morals and the things that you want and the vision that you have for a relationship, they're so very different, then there's no way for you to fix that. The only thing that you can do is walk away, because when your morals and values aren't aligned, it will cause friction and tension and resentment in the relationship going forward, and you won't be able to move past it. But what you will do is you will sit in the relationship, you'll stay in it long term, and eventually you will have to accept the reality that the relationship cannot and will not work because you guys are on two totally separate paths, and the things that you want are so very different that either someone's going to have to compromise, which won't last long, because someone is suppressing what their desires are, suppressing their morals and values. And it's something that you can suppress temporarily, but it's not something that was long-standing. So if your morals and values are not aligned, if your perception of the way relationships should work are not aligned or not similar, then you must separate. It's not going to work. You must accept that it's not going to work, and you must walk away. If you have any questions, I am Latoya Hart. I am the Breakup Girl. Please post them in the comments below. Again, I thank you for joining me today. If this message has resonated with you or can be of value to a friend or family member, please like or share, and I'll catch you in the next video.